Hello guys, my name is Yulene and today I'm making another video to show you how I made these earrings. The first thing that I'm doing in this video is showing you the piece of clay that I had already conditioned the day beforehand, and I will use this to make the earrings that I showed you in the beginning of the video. If you want to know how I made this clay color, check out the description of my video below. Now that I'm now what I'm doing in the next part of the video is taking a different piece of clay, and I'm going to use this to demonstrate to you how you can condition your clay. I'm using cornstarch to dust on the surface that I'm working on, and I do this to prevent my clay from sticking to the surface. What I do to condition my clay is roll it out with my rolling pin and wrap it into a ball again and again and again until I have a softer consistency. I'm also showing you that if you want to prevent your roller from sticking to your clay, you have to dust some cornstarch on your clay. I'm also showing this because you have to do this before putting your clay into the pasta clay machine because you don't want to break your machine. In the next part of the video, I'm showing you the piece of clay that we're using for the earrings one more time before we put it into the pasta clay machine, because I want to get a better slab. I'm just putting it through the pasta machine until I'm somewhat content with what comes out. I knew that this clay was a little bit dry and old, but I figured it was still usable. I used the machine on a setting number 1 because that's the thickness that I like for these kinds of earrings. In the next part of my video, I am putting my slab on a piece of baking paper that I already dusted with some cornstarch, and I'm actually going to lightly roll out the clay with my rolling pin, and I'm barely applying any pressure to the rolling pin. I just thought it could use that little bit of extra love. And here I am wiping off the cornstarch from my clay because cornstarch can really stain your clay in ways that you thought weren't even possible. And here is the secret ingredient to my pretty earrings. It is plastic foil that I use on my clay to cut out the shapes so that the clay doesn't stick into my cutter after I cut out the clay. Next up, I am deciding which cutter to use and where I want to cut out my shapes. I press in my shapes very firmly with quite a lot of pressure because if I don't use enough pressure, it doesn't look right to me. The reason why I lift the plastic foil every time before cutting is to prevent it from creasing is to prevent the plastic foil from creasing into my clay. And here are my beautiful first two shapes of this slab. The next shape that I'm using is the last shape I cut out of this slab because this time I'm making two earrings and two pendants for my mom and one pendant for me. In the next part of the video, I'm showing you my X-Acto knife that I'm using to actually cut out the shapes of my clay. I'm doing this so I can safely peel off the leftover clay so that only my shapes are left on the baking paper. I'm showing you this in real time to show you that I'm taking my time doing this. I'm not rushing this cutting process at all, because I don't want to cut into my shapes. I actually won't show that much of this process because I've covered most of my work with my hand. I am so sorry about that. Even though I don't show it in the video, I did end up cutting out the middle pieces of my shapes. Now, as for the final step of this tutorial, I'm putting my pieces into the oven on 110 degrees Celsius. And here is what the pieces look like when they come out of the oven. And here are the finished results. These are the earrings that I showed in the beginning of this video. And that concludes the ending of my video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that it was helpful to you in some way. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like and consider commenting on this video to let me know your thoughts. And as always, have a great day everyone.